Hey everyone, this is Black Woman 7 here. Today we'll be going over our PFA Season 8 finals as we're up against epic lows of the Indy Latis. So, yeah, so we finally reached finals for I don't know how many times in a row. Like, I don't know, like, is it our 8th or our 6th time? I don't know. Or, no, I think it was our 8th or ninth time for this, for like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Like I think every time I think we have a good win streak so far, or not so much in finals, but like more so like getting like into finals because I think we have it like which is a good thing if you ask me because every time we made a playoff run, we've either made it to finals or we win it all. So except for that one time in like Sun and Moon, but to be honest, I think we're a lot better now than, or I'm a lot better now than like how I am now. So, so this here's a little bit of a history lesson for you guys to know. In PFA season 3, back then I think it was 3 years ago with ORAS OU. So the thing was with PFA season 3, it was basically ORAS OU based a metagame, and yeah, I battled Epic, like. So this is basically a finals rematch of that, and it's as you can see, like I think the only other things that were different back then was that we did it on card and we did it on. I mean, we still had like access to like you know we both had access to like Gen software, so we got our teams properly in. So and we had access to well no, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and then like it was best of 3, so for playoffs back then, like for ORAS, it was always best of 3. Um, so yeah, like during both games, I think both games took like 60 not games, but 60 like turns, and yeah, like before we finally, or I finally was able to trump Epic. So that wasn't easy though. Like he brought some very strong. He brought his regen core with Slow King and Among Us, which back then was pretty good. And then there were just obvious threats like Ladia, Scizor, uh, or something else, or Porygon 2, and and his Tyrantrum. Back then, his Tyrantrum scared the hell out of me. It almost swept me one time during that season. So, um, but yeah, Manaphy, which back then was a beast, was able to like just come in at the right time, set up Calm Minds, and just sweep. So that was a Calm Mind Manaphy, by the way. So with Rain Dance. But anyways, um, that's enough about that time. But we'll just go over this battle. So if you guys probably know, I did lose to Epic last time, and honestly it's partially because I underestimated him. And to be fair, I think I just played badly. I just think I just outright played badly. Like letting Mew get toxic, letting Metagross die for no reason, or keeping her around would have been really clutch. Choice band Metagross in the end would have just murked his team with Bandit, Bullet Punch, and whatnot. Or like Meteor Mashes, so yeah. And not only that, a couple like Wisp missed here and there was kind of annoying, but that's sometimes what happens to him. I think Epic definitely played better, and he just had the better matchup, or like he just outplayed me and just got the better matchup at the end. So this time we're battling against him again, and I think it's. By the way, his semifinals game was so close. I kid you not, it was such a close game. If you ask me, I might link it down in the description, but let's just say I'm just gonna say it just came down to a crit. So, um, so that's how close it was. So, but anyways, I'll just go back to this game. So let's talk about the teams. Epic has Kirby, Azumarill, Alolan Muck, Necrozma, Mudsdale, Magmar. Obviously, that's his low tier. Mega Pidgeot, Hitmontop, Jolteon, and Shaman. So we have Mew, Zapdos, Lopunny, Nidoqueen, This or Aromatease, Kirim B, or not or regular Kirim, which is Z move. Milotic, Talonflame, and Scrafty. I did make a last minute transaction before playoffs, and I was debating about like I think before this was Zork, but thing was I was debating about bringing Scrafty this game, but then at the last minute I was just like, I mean, there was like a ton of Pokemon I wanted to bring back, but I think Scrafty was like the only one that I just didn't like. I like well not didn't like. Obviously, I didn't like Talonflame and like Garantis, even though they never been brought in any games. I think just having those in against a possible Pidgeot, Muck, and Kirim was just meh, if you ask me. They were just gonna like outright burn through my squad, so and like I just couldn't like have Lurantis just gets bodied by half his team, so wait a minute, I think alright, so I had to change two things because I realized I only put 10 Pokemon. So I forgot to include Milotic and Bronzong on Epic's and the Maya team, so that's pretty important if you ask me, because so basically Epic also made like transactions as well. I think he had a Steelix and a like Masquerade, and he traded them for Mudsdale and Bronzong respectively. So already you can see where those two Pokemon can like be problematic, like where it lines up against my squad. So Bronzong is probably the most, I think out of all his Pokemon, I think Bronzong should be the most annoying defensively speaking, because like there's some Pokemon that I have that I know I'm gonna have to chip it down, and he knows that he has the advantage, so he could just set up screens, he could set up like maybe Trick Room, he could just go for Toxic. So I think his Bronzong's gonna have a lot of free reign. Same with Necrozma if he decides to bring a defensive set. That's in that regard. Though I do think Shaman is very likely as well, because Shaman last time just kicked my ass. So basically, it was a 3-1 where like Shaman just so happened to like get I think it was able to get like a Toxic and on my Mew, and just like I think it was able to chip down Metagross and Nidoqueen. I think Nidoqueen died to an Earth Power, so yeah. I think it was offensive though, so that's why. But yeah, obviously his biggest threat of so far is arguably Kirim B, because I think for those of you who don't know, Kirim B actually has the highest. Not only does it have the highest kill count or the MVP, or in terms of amount of like kill death ratio, but it has a whopping 35 kills this season. And I'm like, oh shit, he's definitely breaking that. So, also I think Azumarill is just gonna make an appearance because it just makes sense. Like having a wall breaker core between Kirim B and Azu, and also Necrozma. It's just both of those three Pokemon alone could just break my squad like with ease. And Shaman can with the Seed Flare, but like I think it's more better as a defensive set. Now in terms of a rocker, I think he might bring Bronzong or Necrozma as a rocker. And honestly, I thought that he might exclude like Alolan Muck this time, which was something that I didn't think he would do. But the more I looked into it, I just felt that Alolan Muck just didn't make sense given the matchup. Like half my team either walls it or just, I guess you could say just, I don't want to say beats it, or just like it's just like the Muck just sits there and doesn't do much, outside of Toxic, Knockoff, just doing that type of stuff. But I don't think it could set up against my squad as well, so but I can't rule it out either way. Mudsdale, of course, is one of those Pokemon that just is pretty annoying from a defensive side. Of course, that's stamina and whatnot. So, but he needs fighting coverage other than that, or rock coverage to deal with Kirim and Zapdos. Otherwise, it's just not gonna like do as much work. Magmar, I think he's not gonna bring it. Let's be honest. Like he's brought it once, and the one time he brought it, he just got owned by like two Pokemon, like by that Bandit Tyranitar that Winwick brought. So, and then you have like the other three Pokemon: Mega Pidgeot, Hitmontop, and Jolteon. Now, I think he's gonna bring one of the three. These guys. Either I think Hitmontop more so because Hitmontop was able to pressure my team like last time very well, and as well as just get those Intimidates, threaten with Mach Punch, Toxic, and also what was that? Get Rapid Spin really. So being able to spin is really huge versus his squad. So yeah, Pidgeot is also just as good, but the thing is he needs to bring certain sets to make it work. Like I'm actually predicting him bringing like a workup set like Hyper Beam. So and just to like be able to break through. But then again, like if he brings Pidgeot, then he has to bring Hitmontop because his hazard removal is pretty poor, if you ask me. And also Jolteon, I just don't know if he brings it or not. Like 3 of my Pokemon wall it, or 4, as you see, between Zapdos, Kyurem, Nidoking, Mew. But at the same time, I have to be very careful about it having Toxic itself. I know I mentioned Toxic most of the time, but I gotta be very, very careful that Mew doesn't get Toxic from something random, like, you know, Kyurem B, or like Azu. Like, I just can't let without it doing its job, so... Well, I'll just tell you exactly what I had in mind, so... So anyways, let's get right into the team builder. So, automatically speaking, I wanted to bring Zapdos because I just felt that it has a good matchup in general against Epic. Even with his new inclusions, like yeah, he has a Kyurem B, yeah, he's a Jolteon, Shaman, and like Bronzong. They could just take my hits pretty easily. Even Alolan Muck can, but the thing about Zapdos is that there's 2 things about Zapdos that people tend to forget. One, it's pretty annoying to take down, unless you just have automatic firepower or something very like offensive capable just to take it down, or you just need a Toxic it. Or 2, like usually that's exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm pretty much hoping that Zapdos is like a Toxic spreader, but Discharge, Toxic, and Heat Wave. I removed Defog for Toxic because I think having the status Necrozma, Hitmontop, and also Jolteon while doing chip damage to them is going to be pretty huge. Kyurem B is pretty much like the big threat here, but I was very much debating. I don't think like Kyurem could actually doesn't want to switch into Zapdos directly because, like, you know, Discharge Paralysis is a thing, and it's all Toxic itself. It doesn't want to get worn down too low because, you know, it'll be in range of Scisor's Bullet Punch. So it actually walls this guy actually walls Mega Pidgey and most of his special attackers, and with pressure, my goal is to try to pressure stall some of his Pokemon with Zapdos plus Kyurem, especially the Muck, and especially if my idea works out. So you'll see what I mean. So he just needs something really offensive to like kill me, and outside of like maybe Necrozma, Kyurem, and like a Belly Drum to Azumarill, and also Jolteon with like Charge Beam, I don't see that option. I just Zapdos just sits there, spread status against this team, just because annoying. So it's a very huge thorn. So I was debating about putting Discharge over Volt Switch, but I felt Discharge is better because, you know, paralysis is always king if you ask me. So then we have Scizor, and honestly, the big change here is obviously having Metagross to Scizor, but outside of that, nothing's really changed. But I was sort of debating about what Scizor set I wanted, because to be honest, like, I really wanted max speed Scizor just to outpace Necrozma, but then I realized that that's probably a dumb idea because Necrozma could just be offensive for this game. So I just decided to settle for like someone with a bulkier Scizor, you know, with Akaberry. Because I have a if you look at his team, he doesn't have the best switch-ins to Scizor, or doesn't want to like doesn't have a good like response to it, because like once I'm set up with like one or two sword stances, I just sweep his team, like, or even break it. So um like, of course I do have to be very careful about Azumarill, and I have to be careful about like anything with like fire coverage, but like honestly I just like Scizor here. Like having priority bullet punch is just so clutch versus Kyurem, clutch versus Azu, anything fast like Pidgeot, even Jolteon. So even Hitmontop can't really, you know, beat this Scizor, because if he tries to keep going for close combat, then yeah. And if he's not Intimidate, then I know that he's fucking Technician HP Fire. And this is Epic we're talking about, so he's the type of guy who will bring some weird, but like sets that will actually work. So that's the thing. I do think that Epic has the resources to like win in this game. So anyways, that's all I have to say about Scizor, but it's just a good win con, good pivot option to like Kyurem, or like something like not alone muck, but Hitmontop. So, and I want to ensure that I can remove items as well. You know, removing the berry on Azu and Muck will be huge. Finding out what sets they have, you know, it was self-explanatory, and Aquaberry is just there to protect me from a fire move, because I thought he was just gonna break something like, you know, Hidden Power Fire, Jolteon or something like that. So yeah. Though I think it's probably in his best interest to like have everything Hidden Power Fire. So yeah. So, anyways, we have Kyurem. So, last time I brought this guy, I think I brought it with like Earth Power and yeah, over Shadow Ball, because he didn't have Bronzong. But this time I pretty much changed the Z move, like, and the attack itself. I had Earth Power and Ghost DMZ, or Earth Power with Ground DMZ to nuke down the Steelix, and also just chunk down like some stuff like, you know, Alolan Muck, Jolteon, even like Kyurem or Azu if it's like they're in range. This time I am running an Shadow Ball, and it is a lot weaker. Its Z move, I think it's like significantly weaker compared to like the Earth Power, and I do understand that. However, I think there's two things. There's an extra caveat to this. One is that Shadow Ball basically has a good 20% chance to drop the opponent's special defense. So this could be pretty huge if you ask me. So especially against a Calmine, Kyurem, not Kyurem, but like Necrozma and Bronzong, being able to possibly like lower its special defense by those mons, and then just nuke them with Ice Beam or Z Shadow Ball is pretty interesting if you ask me. So, of course he doesn't have the best Ice type. Like, he doesn't have like the best switch-ins to Kyurem, especially with guarding Ice and Ghost moves. And the only Pokemon I could think of that could just do that is a Spadef Kyurem B. Alolan Muck can do it, but of course Shadow Ball will drop its Spadef. And I'm also trying to like wear that thing down, so rather that thing be like, I have other ways to deal with Alolan Muck, and also the fact that like I do have a substitute, so which I'll explain about that one when I get to Mew. And the only other mon that of course deals with this Kyurem is Azu, because Azumarill, if you look at his team, or this team doesn't really have. I don't have a good switch into Azu, and this is like probably my best water type switch in. So, yeah, especially if this Azumarill is either like Belly Drum or Choice Band, I gotta be very careful. That's why that's actually the reason why I have sub, just to like sub on the Azu and like see what he does, whether he goes for the knockoff. If he goes for knockoff, I'll live, because you know it's Ghost. I have a Z move, so but I also, or my substitute like stays intact. So Then I could just chip it down with Shadow Ball, or just go for, or if he goes for the Belly Drum, he'll weaken himself even further, like around the 50% range, unless he's like citrus, super like pinch berry or like a citrus berry. But if he's around that 50% range, that's where the C Shadow Ball comes in play. I want it more so. I want to hit Azu with it more so than against Necrozma or Bronzong. Bronzong, I think it's gonna be more physically defensive, or like it's either that or it's not gonna do as much damage to me. I think he has to run a coverage just like Psychic and Flash Cannon just to deal with Kirim. Like, because obviously I have pressure, so I could PP stall possible Gyro Balls and whatnot. So, um, but yeah, I know that certain Pokemon like Muck and Azu kind of wall this guy, but at the same time, or check it. But then again, like if I could get rid of those two or wear them down, with Mew, then I am in the clear. So yeah. Anyways, the next Pokemon on our list is Nidoking, and this guy or gal. I think out of all the Pokemon, I think I worked on Nidoking the most. And I think I even asked Jake. By the way, he's one of many people in my front office. So shout outs to Jake. So, and basically I decided on, or we decided on this set because I did this is the one Pokemon that I was struggling the most, and I just asked for some help, guidance, and I just realized, if he doesn't bring Muck, then Toxic Spikes is pretty much free here because, like, outside of Bronzong and I believe Pidge, but those two are just you could chip him down with rocks or burn. So here I have Super Fang, Sludge Ball, Sludge Wave, and Toxic Spikes with rocks. So, and with a very defensive spread. I put a lot of Spadef just to take possible Earth powers from like Shaman. Unless it's Life Orb, then it shouldn't two-shot me. So I do have the Papa Berry just to be able to recover lost HP because I don't know why the hell people bring like Black Sludge over like Iapapa. You should always run Iapapa Berry, especially if you're being very aggressive with your ground type that doesn't even have a recovery or whatever. So, but anyways, like I do have like well, that was a weird ass joke I made. But anyways, I do have a Super Fang, and it sounds very weird having Super Fang and not Earth Power this game. And the reason for that is because of Bronzong. I just don't have anything on this set that will reliably check Bronzong at all without losing vital coverage or something. And the best option was probably Super Fang because of course this makes me very, very weak to Muck. But the trade-off is if he doesn't bring a level Muck, this set could actually just do a lot of work. Because having rocks and T-Spikes means his team's gonna get chipped down between poison damage, rocks damage, and not only that, I do have Super Fang just to like do half of their HP, so I'm gonna be forcing Kirim B, Necrozma, not Pidgeot, but also Shaman to like be recovering a lot. And Shaman has natural cure, but the thing is, it won't appreciate being Toxic Spike poison, so and I do have Sludge Wave, and it's mainly for the Shaman and the possible Mega Pidgeot, so I just wanted to have something to hit both of those guys, so but yeah, like Super Fang is pretty cool if you ask me, because again, does half its the HP of these guys, and it just helps me out versus giving like something like Lopunny and Scizor Kirim like extra offensive potential. Alright, so where was I? Yes. So I think the last two Pokemon we're gonna discuss. Alright, so the last two Pokemon are Mew and the Lopunny. So Lopunny, I think we'll talk about Mew first because I think this is pretty much the game plan. So this is the same Mew set that I brought the last time against Epic. And the reason why I'm bringing the same meal is mostly because honestly, just look at the same. Like, I don't really have a lot of Pokemon that just outright wall or check everything, and Mew is probably the best option to do so, even against Alolan Muck. Because if I could get a Wisp off against a Muck, or get Super Fang onto, like, Necrozma, get that 50% damage almost any of his Pokemon, I could just pretty much wear them down for my win cons like Lopunny and Scizor to, like, win this game. So yeah, um, I think Taunt is pretty good if you ask me, because it just prevents certain stuff like Kirin B, Azu from roosting or going for subs. Again, like Alolan Muck going for recycle constantly. So, or just any setup, especially against like Bronzong. So, and even if they do have, like I say, Mental Herb, that means they just wasted their item. So you don't have any form of recovery or some offensive item to be helpful. So I do think this is a great stall breaker slash defensive bond we have here, because like just outside of like maybe offensive or choice band stuff, which again they don't want to get burnt at all. Maybe like Specs Jolteon or like Specs Necrozma, but I don't really see like them like dealing with well against this Mew. So, and yeah, I really like this guy a lot. And of course I have Will-O-Wisp. Even though it's inaccurate it is, and I am running T-Spikes, I'd rather have a burnt Azu and a Kyurem than something that's toxic. I don't mind them being toxic either way, so because if I could like wear them down or like allow them to be set of fodder for Scizor or Lopunny or Kyurem B, then that's fine. Hell, I could even like pressure stall them with the Wisp plus I believe Shadow. No, Wisp plus pressure from Kyurem and Zapdos. So yeah. It also helps me out walling them out even more. So yeah. I do think Mew is gonna be very clutch for this game, especially if I could keep it healthy. Don't avoid getting like toxic and shit. So yeah. And lastly, we have Lopunny. So I think this is the same. Yeah, this is the same Lopunny set that I brought last time. And to be fair and honest, I just did not. I wasn't so sure about bringing Lopunny. I was pretty much debating on bringing Azu, or not Azu, but like my Milo takeover my Lopunny. But the last minute, I just changed it because I felt that like I like obviously like most of his team, it doesn't have a good resistance to normal plus fighting spam. And not only that, I felt the need that like to have a Pokemon that's faster than Jolteon, faster than Mega Pidgeot, so and more so its utility moves, like Encore and Fake Out could be pretty clutch if you ask me. Like if I could Encore Necrozma into a Calm Mind or Muck into Recycle, or get that chip damage on Pidgeot with Fake Out or Kyurem as well. This gives me a little bit extra priority. And yeah, I do have Fake Out also because not just because getting the extra chip, but also for two reasons. One, obviously it synergizes amazingly with Toxic Spikes or Toxic in general, but also it just prevents, given that this is epic, the guy that usually brings a lot of unique sets, I don't want to lose to a Chillonberry Mon. And Fake Out might sound like weird to have, but it's pretty cool to just pretty much block the item, block the or just waste that Chillonberry. Of course, he could run Protect, but that's where Encore comes in. I could just Encore the Mon into like the Protect, so that way I could just deal with him with returns, or just get free returns or low kick damage on. So yeah, I do think that Fake Out Encore just synergized amazingly here. So with the rest of the squad, it's arguably my best cleaner, and it's definitely the mon that I want to bring for this game. So, but yeah, that's the team. So, I think out of all these Pokemon, I think the two Pokemon that have like the most importance are probably Mew, Zapdos, and Lopunny. Of course, everyone has a role here for this game, but at the same time, I have to figure out how to navigate through that. So yeah. So anyways, that's the team. So I'll see you guys in the battle. So peace.